Hi and welcome to Carrie's Craic. Today I'd like to talk about, as always, my weekly rambles, my epiphanies, my lessons learned, my challenges, whatever that might have been for the week. And the topics are authenticity, energy as a collective, and you are not your thoughts. So let's dive in. Authenticity then. So what about that? Well, let me ask you this. Are you being real? Are you being authentic? Are you being authentically you? Authentically real? Authentically yourself? Are you being you? Are you being you all the time? Some of the time? Just have a think about it. It might be a case of people pleasing. So maybe you're not yourself in certain situations, around certain people. Maybe in business, maybe at work. The reason this came up for me this week is, so I'm on a course, a business course, to learn all the techie side of things. And of course, media, social media, everything, you say something and up pop the adverts, yeah? So the algorithms know I'm on a course, so then all these adverts are popping up about courses, about you being a business owner, all the different things about being a business owner. So I'm getting a lot of information about, having a niche, following a certain, really niching in and homing into a certain group of people. Now, I'm not saying this is wrong advice. I'm not saying that. I know there's people, obviously, that's why I'm taking a course. There's people there that know their stuff and the reason why they say these things. So I'm not saying this is wrong. All I'm saying is, and I'm speaking to quite a few people, and I've Googled it even, and, put it on YouTube, and people on YouTube are saying the same thing. And I feel intuitively, authentically, that I don't want a niche. I don't want to be known for one set group of people that I can help. I want to be known for the thing I can help with, mindfulness, that will help lots of different people. Now, I get that when it comes to marketing and trying to find your people, or trying to get your messaging out there, it's hard if you don't niche in. I get that. So for me, I feel more comfortable, more real, more authentically me if I have a product, say I've got a course for people who are grieving, then yes, when it comes to that point, I will niche in and market for that. But as a business as a whole, a spiritual life can help with anything. And it just got me thinking about being authentic and being me and listening to my intuition. And then collectively, like, I'm hearing this, like I say, once you say or do something, everything pops up. Like I say, they all listen, right? So then I'm hearing it all on YouTube. I'm getting all this stuff about, the other thing is social media. And I like being on YouTube, but I find the other stuff quite time consuming. Now, I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm not saying that. And if I had a lot of time to do this and to set up the business, I would be all over all the socials. But for me, I feel like doing all the social media stuff is just very time consuming. And again, and also, you know, I'm saying to not to not go on it, but to notice where your attention's going. Is your attention being taken off you while you're on social media? And to just watch it a little bit, maybe limit it, time it. And so that didn't feel very authentic. The fact that on my freebie that I'll be reaching out and giving you soon, on my freebie, one of the things is to watch your social media consume, you know, how much you consume. So again, that didn't feel very authentic, that I was being on that. And so then I was looking on YouTube, can you market without social media? And all these people are putting these posts on, they're feeling the same way. And the comments are like, yeah, I've been off it for so long and it's been great and all this stuff. And it just got me thinking, I'm not the only one that feels like this. And it got me thinking about the energy of a collective. And then talking to friends, it feels like the energies of a collective are also feeling that they need to be more authentic. I feel like we're not taking any BS anymore. We're being more true to ourselves. Sometimes that has a detrimental impact. It might mean that you lose friends, family, because they can't handle your change. They can't handle the real because you've been people pleasing the whole time. And so when you decide not to, they don't know how to be around you anymore because they can't handle the change. And that's okay. You know, they might come back in your life when they are a bit more accepting. But right now, all you've got is now. Mindfulness, the present moment, all you've got is now. And if you're feeling the need to drop the act, you know, like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to live a lie. You know, life's too precious. I mean, some would say life is a game anyway. Life is a show. We're all actors within this show. How do you want to show up? And I guess even if you believe that, how do you want to show up, even if you're acting? Do you want to act to the audience for the audience's sake? Or do you want to act and be true to you and who you really want to be? I guess is the question. So that's how I came to those things, a little bit about authenticity. I do feel the tides are changing, the tides are turning, that, you know, I do feel like a lot of people are feeling this as a collective. Please say in the comments how you're feeling about this, about authenticity and about seeing people around you being more authentic. You know, again, back to social media, it used to be a case of you would only see people's glamorous lives. And I wouldn't dream of doing a video at stupid o'clock in the morning so I can do it before the kids wake up, hence no makeup, hair tied back in a messy bun. You know, I would never dream of doing this. But now I'm like, this is real. This is real life. And more people are doing this. More people are showing up as they truly are. Do you not find that? In which case, that energy's shifting. Let's be raw. Let's be real. I said this in the early days of doing these videos, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The next thing I want to talk about, you are not your thoughts. So I was recommended a podcast a while ago, but I had these audio books on the go, so I never got a chance to watch it. And then I happened to come across this episode that was interviewing a mindfulness teacher. The host was a guy. This mindfulness teacher was also a guy. And it was just really nice to listen to two guys talking about this stuff. Now, as a mindfulness teacher, we constantly spout out the line, "You are not your thoughts." I've heard it a long time. I say it. I thought I knew what it meant. And again, intuition, my spiritual journey, what tends to happen with me is I will think something, having never come across it before. I'm not saying I'm the original thought behind it, but I've not heard it from anyone before. And I will think something and think, oh yeah, never thought of it like that before, or I've come to an epiphany about something. And then really, like, within the next day, I will hear someone confirming that, whether it be on YouTube, a friend or whatever, and I'll hear someone actually confirming that thing that I thought. And that's been my spiritual journey. That's been confirmation for me to say I'm on the right path. So the same thing happened with this thoughts thing. I started to think about thoughts and about consciousness. And this podcast came up, and it was really good because I was driving actually as I was listening to it, and they get into a deep conversation about it, and they start going, so you are not your thoughts. And then they're like, well, who's the person thinking you're not your thoughts? And they're like, whoa, this is deep, because something has an awareness to know that you're not your thoughts. What is that? And I would say it's your consciousness. You could say soul, spirit. It's your true essence. The mind does the thinking, but there's something there that's aware, an awareness of what you're thinking. So yeah, it just, and I've heard this before as a superficial way, but it just got me thinking a little bit deeper about it, and about, and then, like I say, confirmation happened. So again, and you know, tech listening to you, of course. So then YouTube brings up these other videos, these people that I subscribe to, and they're talking about the same thing. And they say, if all our suffering is to do with thoughts. So if they called it like a second awakening. So if you think less and you just live in this consciousness, which is basically being in the present moment, like mindfulness, then you'll have less suffering. And it's not to resist or push the thoughts away or berate yourself for having thoughts, but it's just not to get caught up in them. And to realize you are not them. When you really go deeper, another level to that statement, you are not your thoughts. And you realize what actually you are. You're the observer of your thoughts. You're that thing, whatever that thing is, whatever you want to title it, consciousness, whatever. That's the thing you are. So try and live in that more. Can you just try and live in pure consciousness? And so I just think, like, I'm totally in my head all the time. So it is a lot of effort for me to drop down. One way of doing that is to embody. You can put your hand on your heart, feel into your body where you're feeling any sensations or anything. And to just step outside, be that observer looking in. When you feel yourself constricting and tightening up, realize that that's probably coming from a thought of a story you have from the past. And you can drop it and come back to the awareness of that thought. And then that's easier to just let the thought pass. Be in consciousness, be in a bigger thing. Become your soul. And life just feels a little bit more easy, free, flowing. Thoughts have a purpose. They keep us safe. They help us plan things. But it's like when there's a time when there's a time for it, set the time aside, do the planning, do the thinking, but then come back into this conscious state, this awareness of you and your life and what's around you and what you're grateful for. And when we're in that vibration, that higher vibration, because thought, this isn't a point one of them made, when we're in thought, we're in lower vibrational states, because we have the energy of anger, greed, that control state of mind, and they're like lower vibrations. But when we come out of thought, it's like, are you thinking anything when you're in joy, bliss, when you're feeling freedom? Are you actually thinking anything at the time? So think back to the last time you felt bliss or joy, like real embodiment of joy. For me, it's being in the sun. When I'm sat in the sun and I just close my eyes, and obviously about being around family as well, when I can be really present with my kids. But as an example, I just remember being at a festival, and typical British summer weather, right? So I was trying to manifest some sun for this camping trip, and the first day we got there, it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely, and the band was playing. We just got there, we'd got settled, we'd got some food, drinks, we'd got all set up and everything. Went to the festival itself. The sun was there, the music was playing, and I was just like, I'd manifested it, and the sun was there beaming down, and I just got this overwhelming sense of bliss, where to the point where I was almost in tears of joy. I'm not thinking in that moment. I'm in that moment. I am that moment. And I guess that is what people say when we are conscious and we are all one. When we get into that state, which is a higher vibration, when we get into that state, we are oneness. We are everything. So you are not your thoughts. Got a bit deep, that, didn't it? Okay, so I think that's all I have for you. Any comments, drop them in, and I'd love to hear them. Otherwise, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Much love.